Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome to a train set review. So obviously in the past I've looked at loads and loads of train packs, but very rarely do I actually look at a train set. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and I'm going to try and lift this up, although it is pretty cumbersome, so apologies if this goes wrong. This is the one I chose. This is the Somerset Belle train set. Now I picked this one because it's one of the best train sets in my opinion. It's quite a special train set. As you can see, it is a digital train set, and there's a couple of reasons why I think this train set is absolutely fantastic, one of the best on the market. So first of all, it's the fantastic way to get into DCC if that's what you want to do. It's all inclusive, it's got the control of the loco, the track, everything you need to get started on DCC, so obviously that's pretty good. But the massive advantage to this set is the price and the value for money. So as you can see on the box here, this set comes with the Hornby DCC Select controller. Now the RRP for that controller, the recommended retail price, or Hornby's price, is £121.99 for that controller. Now I bought this entire set from the retailer for £130, and Hattons are still selling these for that kind of money, so I've left a link in the description if you want to pick one of these up quick before whoever's in charge realises and puts the price up. Then you can get a fantastic bargain. So effectively for £8 extra you're actually getting the locomotive, the DCC fitted locomotive, the circuit of track, the set of points, the siding, the buffer stop, the track mat, and of course the three beautiful pieces of modern rolling stock for an extra £8.01 on top of the DCC controller. So absolutely outstanding value for money there in every possible way. Now I don't think this is a fantastic train set for DCC beginners because obviously it only comes with one locomotive. So if you're an absolute beginner, it really doesn't demonstrate the strengths of DCC, which obviously allows you to control multiple locomotives on the one track. However, if you completely understand what DCC is and you're just ready to get started with it, then this is a fantastic set. And incidentally, if you're not sure what DCC is, I did a video of it not too long ago. I'll put up a link just there right now so that you can click on it. The first part of the video is a bit sciencey and it might be a little bit confusing, but if you look in the description there's a key and you can skip forwards to the part where I talk about the DCC Select. So that's if you're not too sure what DCC is, but yeah, look at this fantastic train set. Let's get this out then and we'll see exactly what you get inside here and what it's all like. Alright, very excited. Right, let's take a look. And we'll start off by having a look at the packaging then. So as you can tell, this is a Hornby train set, and really, who else is it going to be for making train sets here in the UK? You've got this lovely sort of artwork on the front of the box with a photograph of all the products and things, and just down here in the corner it shows you exactly what you get. Obviously I'm going to be going through this train set, so there's no point lingering on this, but you can see you get the loco, 3 bits of rolling stock, the controller, all of the track, the buffer stop there, and also a track mat, which you can put everything onto if you decide to. Obviously you've also got the DCC controller there, which says it's capable of programming 59 locomotives and 40 accessories, which is true, it can do that. And if I just flip the box over to show you what is on the back, you can see there's not very much here that's specific to the train set itself. Most of it is kind of marketing material to show you how to upgrade the layout and make it larger, which is admittedly quite handy if you want to grow. And also over here there's a little bit of information about the DCC controller itself. I will try and give you a decent shot of that so that you can read it if you like, but again, check out my DCC video if you want to know more, if you're not already familiar with it. But for now then, let's get the lovely Somerset Belle out, and as you can see here it contains the beautiful S&DJR Ginty, DCC fitted too, which is really cool. Okay, what end to start with? Let's start with this end, I reckon. And there's just something magical about unboxing train sets, isn't there? It feels like Christmas, and it's worth getting one just for that feeling, I think, isn't it? But yeah, £130. I nearly paid that just to get a controller, so I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I got the whole lot. Okay, so let's get this into the shot, and where to start? Well, I'll tell you what, let's start off with the paperwork, and that is hidden around the back here. So shall we see exactly what we get in this highly exciting pack? Okay, I was trying to sell it as an exciting pack, it didn't work, never mind. Okay, so first of all we have the locomotives with the Type M motor, so it's very non-specific manual here. Let's see what's inside. Yeah, so pretty standard Euro 6.0 basically. It shows you a little bit about oiling, body removal. Obviously we don't have to worry about DCC fitting with this one because that's already been done, so that's fine. Then we have the owner's manual, which obviously isn't going to be telling us too much we didn't know already, but no, it's quite nicely printed, as you can see. It talks about points. It basically talks about everything, and it even gives you some hints and tips about actually getting this stuff onto a baseboard, which is quite good, because obviously that's what you want to be doing, unless you're like me, of course, and you're happy on the carpet. And then we have the Hornby warranty registration, not too interested in that. We have the Locomotive decoder sheet. I won't go into that too much, but that just, I assume, tells you about the CVs and how to use it and look after it and things. Ooh, this is quite nice. We have the Hornby Select Operator's Manual, it looks like. I will have a quick flick through this. Oh, it's really nicely printed, as you can see. Yep, loads of information on there. Again, I'm not going to go through that today because I'm going to do my best to explain in very basic terms how everything works. And then finally, the final thing is the track mat. I'm not going to get this out because it's a bit of a faff, but I will just have a quick look at it. It seems to be made, I don't know, they used to be made of plastic, but this feels as though it's made of sort of card or paper now. I'm not absolutely sure, but it will do the job. I just wonder how durable it will be if it's made of paper, but you don't buy the thing for the track mat. It's not worth very much, is it? But it's nice to have it, because some of the train sets, most notably the Thomas and Friends train set I bought, didn't have one of those, so that's really nice. But that's all of the gubbins out of the way. We're not too interested in that. So now let's find out exactly what we get inside the train set. So let's start off with the bit we're all looking for, which is the Locomotive. And here it is, the S&DJR 3F, and I'm actually giving this away, so if you want a chance to win one of these, make sure you catch my last couple of live streams. I'm going to be giving this away on the 19th of August, which is a Sunday, so you've still got time to enter the competition to win that. So yes, tune in to my live streams. But yeah, it's a beautiful loco, as you can see, and DCC fitted too, so worth quite a bit, I should imagine, and yeah, part of a really good value train set. So there's the Ginty. Let's move on to something different before we take a look at the rolling stock. Let's have a look at the controller, shall we? And it comes in a little bag. So here it is, the Hornby digital controller. Not much to say about this. It's a fairly sturdy thing. All of the keypad seems to work just fine. My old DCC controller didn't have very good numbers on it. I seem to remember the number 2 was very hard to press, but this one does work fine. I've tested it. The knob is a little bit, pardon my French, is a little bit sort of flimsy, but it does, again, it does work okay. So as long as you're careful with these, I think they're absolutely fine. And like I say, pretty good value in this train set. So I'll just stick that into the bag. Then we have the wire here, which is used obviously to connect the controller to the track, which stands to reason. That's obviously something you will need if you haven't got a track set up already. On top of that, you get the detail pack here for the Locomotive. As you can see, we do have a set of vacuum pipes here, which is quite typical of the railroad locos. And yes, this is a Hornby railroad loco, incidentally. And quite amazingly, you've also got some unpainted crew figures to put inside the loco, which is really, really cool. So yeah, that is fantastic. You don't normally get those with the Hornby railroad locos when you buy them separately. So, you know, if you want one with the crew, the train set is the best way to go, really. So that's really nice. I haven't seen Bill and Ben there for quite a while. So on top of that, we obviously have to have the power supply for the controller, and this is a 15 volt 1 amp power supply. So that's good for probably 4 to 5 locos at 15 volts. So that will get you started very, very nicely. So yeah, not too much to say about that. Here we have the buffer stop, because obviously this train set does come with a siding, which we'll get onto in a moment. Yep, quite nice that they've included that as well. Good attention to detail there. And let's talk about the track then. So you've got a circuit here of 3rd radius track. Is this all elastic together? Yes, it is. What can I say about this? The detail on it is superb. No, it isn't. Yeah, it's just a circuit of 3rd radius track. Obviously, very, very handy if you needed to set up a train set for the first time. So there's that. And then you've got the other track pieces here. First of all, you've got the set of points here and the sort of, what would you call it, a point corrector, so that your siding is straight. Now, if you look here, you can see that it's even got the DCC point clips fitted to the point, which is really good. I mean, Hornby have thought of everything with this set, which can't always be said for Hornby, but they really, really have covered all bases on here. And don't forget that the set of points is worth £10 alone. It would normally cost you about 10 to buy a set of points, so that's fantastic. Let's take a look at the straight. So you've got A double straight there, that's very nice. Another double straight there, which is also pretty cool. I suppose they must be for the siding, presumably, because then you've got the the short straight, which is one half of the oval of track. Oh no, you've got two short straights. Oh, I don't really know how this all goes together then. We'll have to look at the box again. Two short straights plus the power track, which interestingly has green blobs on it. Are they normally red or black? They're not normally green anyway, so obviously that shows DCC. But that is the piece that connects your controller to the track itself, which is quite handy. So that's that. And now then, let's get on to the rolling stock. And it was actually the rolling stock that excited me the most, because obviously for £130 you've covered, you've had your money's worth with the loco, the controller and the track. I was interested to see what kind of rolling stock you actually got with this set, and I've got to tell you I was not disappointed. Let's take a look at these. I've not actually had these out, I've just looked at them from inside the packaging. So first of all, we've got the brake van here, and this is an LMS brake van. So it looks like a Toad, but could you still call it a Toad if it's from the LMS? Anyway, look at this. I mean, it's not the most detailed piece of rolling stock in the world, but to say it's in such a cheap, well, not cheap, but inexpensive train pack, it really is very nice. Look at that, metal wheels. It has got the old Airfix couplings, which suggests that this is just a railroad wagon, but that's fine. It really is nicely painted and everything, as you can see. Good little piece of rolling stock, that, and that isn't the best of it. So you also get a wagon. You get sort of a little goods train. It's kind of an assorted goods train here. This wagon is not wanting to come out. Oh yes, it is. Now this wagon is really impressive. It's the same sort of colour as the brake van, so it matches quite nicely. LMS Loco Coal it says, which is really quite nice. Metal wheels again, look at all the underframe detail. I'll show you this close up later on, or maybe I won't, it depends. We'll see how much time I've got. It's painted on the inside. I mean, again, for a train set wagon, this is really, really, really nice. It'll be one of the nicest wagons I've got like this, which is saying something, isn't it? So that is that. Really quite pleased with that. It's a really nice wagon. To say that it's in a train set, normally it's quite cheap and nasty stuff in the train sets, but no, not with this. And then probably the cherry on top, we have this tanker. Now just look at the detail on this. I mean, look at all the struts and things that hold it up, the support structure. You've got 3 axles on this, which again puts the price up quite a lot because they are metal. That's quite unusual. And look, this one has got NEM couplings on it. I didn't even realise that. It is a bit strange because it won't match the couplings on the other wagons, which is a little bit bizarre, I suppose. But yeah, that is a super detailed wagon, isn't it? With the NEM couplings, all of this detail on it, that has got to be worth a tenner on its own, hasn't it? Brand new. Absolutely superb. So that's what I'm saying about the value. Can you believe this for £130? And it's not often that I've got a lot of nice things to say when it comes to value, is it? But really, this is pretty good. And don't forget, the Loco is going to be worth a lot more than just the 30 quid if it's got the DCC decoder in it. So yeah, if you want one of these train sets, they are available from the retailers for about £130, and I've put a link in the description. So click on that and take a look before they're all gone, because like I say, it's a steal, isn't it, at that price? Anyway, let's take a look at some of this stuff up close on the white background. Now it's going to take ages if I go through the Loco and all 3 bits of rolling stock, so I think we will just do the Loco and then maybe a spotlight on this wagon, which is the nicest of the lot, I think. So let's get to that now. Here's a close-up look at the Ginty. And isn't she just absolutely beautiful in that S&DJR blue? I really, really love the S&DJR Ginties. They're absolutely fantastic. So let's take a look at this up close then. Obviously, the paintwork on this is quite simple. There's no lining or anything on there. And actually, that's what makes it so attractive to manufacturers, I would think. Obviously, this is going to be really quite cheap to produce because there isn't any extravagant lining on there. And yet, it's still really quite nice looking. People are going to want it because it's not just a boring sort of plain black livery. It's a beautiful blue, and yet it doesn't cost the earth. So truly a beautiful model. Really quite good quality too. Let's take a look at this. On the side of the tank, you've got the S&DJR lettering there, which is really quite unusual with that sort of 3D effect with the blue and yellow there. It really does look quite attractive, doesn't it? And similarly, just underneath the coal bunker there, you've got the running number, which is 24 on there. Really quite nice, that. Now, the separately fitted work is quite minimal, I suppose, but to be honest, for a railroad model, which this is, by the way, it doesn't make that clear clear on the packaging, but I suppose it stands to reason that this will be a railroad model because the train sets, the starter sets, are designed with beginners in mind, so it makes sense not to put super detailed stuff in there which is going to break really easily. But nonetheless, considering that this is a railroad model, or you know, it has been released as a railroad model, there is quite a lot of detail on this thing. So let's take a look at the buffer beams. As you can see, lots and lots of riveting going on there. It's not just a simplified buffer beam, and as you can see, we do have metal buffers on here. They're not just plastic, and that really does make it look much more effective, I think. The buffers aren't sprung or anything like that. They are just static buffers, but they're quite realistic looking, I think, especially for quite an inexpensive model. Incidentally, the couplings on here aren't NEM, they are just screwed to the chassis there, so you're kind of stuck with those unless you want to do the work and swap those out. Anyway, back onto the separately fitted work. Just in front of the water tanks here, as you can see, we do have the handrail separately fitted there, and also on the smoke box door you can see we have a handrail up there, and also the running number printed onto there too, which is really quite nice to see. You've also got metal safety valves here, which are separately fitted, and they just shine, don't they? You can spot those even from the long shot here. Really, really nice to see those made of metal, and also the whistle there is made of metal too. So again, a fantastic touch for the railroad range. Another really lovely feature is the glazed windows. On the front here you can see you have 4 glazed windows, which is really good to see. And also on the back you've got more glazed windows with the grille effect, which is really quite effective and quite unusual for a railroad loco, I would say. So that's really nice as well. And as you can see around the back of the bunker we've got yet more printed detail. Lamp irons on there which are part of the moulding, I believe. And up on top you can see we do have a coal load in here, but it's quite a chunky, unrealistic one. But having said that, it does do the job just fine. Looking inside the cab, there is cab detail inside there fantastically. It looks like it is part of the glazing part, I would say, for the windows, potentially. It isn't painted or anything like that, so it's not ultra convincing, but it is there nonetheless, which is quite nice to see. So there we go, that is a look at the loco itself. It is a basic thing, but to be honest, for the price, what can you expect? And actually, I think for the price, the loco actually delivers more than you would expect. So let's take a look then, let's do a little spotlight on that beautiful milk wagon that we also got in this set. And there it is now, and isn't it just a lovely thing? Now, as I was saying, the loco, the Ginty, was very typical of what you might get in a train set, but I would say this wagon is not. The detail on this goes above and beyond what you'd expect from a train set. Obviously, as I've already mentioned, it's got the NEM couplings, which is unusual for a train set, I would say. And of course, it's also got the 3 axles on it as well, which usually makes them more expensive. And generally, the train sets try to be as cheap as they possibly can. But I would say that this train set is the exception to that. Hornby have been very, very generous with this in all aspects, really. So yeah, let's take a look at this. You've got beautifully printed lettering on here. Independent Milk Supplies. Limited, it says. You've got so much lettering going along the running board there, for want of a better term. As you can see, it is labelled LMS, so it's sort of in keeping with the train set. You've got the separately fitted ladder which goes along the top. Incidentally, that is a little bit flimsy. As you can see, it does flex when you touch it there, but again, with a little bit of care you can avoid breaking that. And actually, it's quite good training, isn't it, for beginners, getting them used to handling perhaps a little bit more fragile stuff that isn't worth as much as a loco, so it's not the end of the world if it breaks. But yeah, separately fitted parts all over this. You've got the struts here, looking a little bit sort of flexed and bendy, that one is, but they are separately fitted nonetheless, which is nice to see. And yeah, quite nice realistic looking buffers as well, obviously not sprung ones or anything like that, but again, quite fine scaled, I would say. So yeah, a really fantastic wagon. It's the kind of thing you'd expect to buy on its own in a box from Hornby as part of the Hornby Railways range. Certainly not what you'd expect to come in a very inexpensive train set, so that is really, really nice. Okay, well, let's reunite this with the loco and the other 2 pieces of rolling stock. Let's get the DCC Select controller plugged in on the main layout. I won't set up the little circuit to track. We'll get it going on the big layout, and we'll see what this train set looks like when it's all together. Okay, so there is the S&DJR Ginty with her little goods train there. I've arranged it just as they did on the box, though of course you are completely free to arrange it however you like. And of course, once you get some more rolling stock, you want to add those to the train too. Now, in order to demonstrate the DCC Select controller, I've put some more of my DCC locos onto the track to be controlled all by that one controller. So on the middle line, I've got Mallard here, who I'm going to be running in just a second. And on the inside line, I've got an example of a TTS locomotive, which which is the LMS 4F, of course. She has the sound as well, so I'll demonstrate that in just a second. But for now then, let's get this Jinty tested, and what I've done is I've got the DCC controller all hooked up to the track. I'll just need to peel the plastic off the screen there, as you can see, and when you plug this in, to start with, you've got number 3 on the screen, which is the same number as the Jinty, meaning that we're ready to go straight away. So if I just give this a little bit of juice, we will test the slow speed performance of the Jinty. And as you can see, there she goes, just creeping backwards very slightly there. Let's change direction now and set that back to forwards, and we'll get her to creep forwards. As you can tell, the slow speed is really quite good. Very good, in fact. Okay, so let's send her off around the layout, and I know for a fact she's going to stop on the express point. There we go, and she just about survived it. Anyway then, let's get Mallard here started. Now, as you might know, my Mallard is programmed to number 1, or her decoder is. So let's set the controller to number 1 then. I'll just hit 1, press select, and then set it back down to 0 and give Mallard a little bit of juice, and off she goes there with her lovely ex-LNER coaches there. Absolutely beautiful. Let's get on to the inside line then, where I have this 4F. Now, as I've mentioned, she has sound on board, which makes things a little bit more complicated. So first of all, she's programmed to number 27, so I'll just input that here, number 27, press select. And now, of course, if I set the power down to 0, we have the ability to control her. Go on, Jinty, off you go. But obviously I want to turn the sound on. So the sound is operated by function 1, so I'm just going to press 1 on the controller and then the function button. And there we go, very immediately we've got the sound. And I can also operate the whistles, so I think function 2 will be one of the whistles. So let's press 2 and function. And sure enough, yes, we have the whistle. Now, obviously, all the chuffing sounds are controlled automatically, so if I now set her to a medium speed, that will all start on its own. Oops, she's going the wrong way, let's just change direction. Other way, Mr. 4F. And as you can see, she's got this beautiful train of different tankers, which I really like. So there that goes. Let's have a running session then. Out on the layout there are other train set locomotives, but see if you can spot which one has never appeared in a Hornby train set. So it really is a lovely little set, isn't it? I just love tiny little goods trains, and that's exactly what this is. Pulled by the lovely S&DJR Jinty. Fantastic. There goes the Jinty. I love that brake van as well, it's beautiful, isn't it? Really nice, that. Oh, express points again. Yeah, as you can see, not great on express points, I'll have to give her a push. Yeah, that is the one issue with them. They do seem to struggle a little bit, especially when they're brand new. But you have to let them run in for a little while, and then it gets a lot better after that. There goes Mallard. My first ever DCC engine. Oh, lovely memories. And there goes the fantastic 4F with the TTS sound. Loads of tankers there. Look great with her, don't they? There she goes, past the station. Just follow her around for a second. Under the bookcase. So here now are my ratings then for the very lovely Somerset Belle train set by Hornby. Now, detail was tricky because I think the Loco deserves a 3 out of 5, although the rolling stock was definitely a 4, I would say. However, I'm going to let the Locomotive take precedent, so it is 3 out of 5. Perhaps that seems a little bit unfair, but it's really not supposed to be a criticism, it's just that my rating system isn't designed for starter sets, really. Power though, 4 out of 5. The LMS Jinty is quite a powerful little Loco from Hornby. Always thought so, actually, so good rating there. And also slow speed is very good too, as you can see. She really does a fantastic crawl. Similarly, quality 5 out of 5, everything was top notch, straight out of the box, it's always worked perfectly right from the word go, so that has to be a 5 out of 5. Unfortunately, I have to give the value a 3, because even though you can buy it from the retailers for £130, the RRP is £210.99, which I don't think is particularly good. I think that's just okay. So I've given that 3 out of 5 there. Overall then, that is 7.66 out of 10, not a bad score at all, and into the ranking she goes 19th, just above the Fairburn tank and below the Bachmann Thomas. So yeah, as I've been saying, a really good train set overall. Highly recommend this one, I can. I've put a link in the description, as I say, so if you want to pick one up, then you can do for £130. It is quite a steal, so yeah, definitely do that if you're interested. But for now, folks, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon. Alright, cheers everybody.